Recession is an economic decline for 2 consecutive quarters, which means a country's GDP falls for 6 months. There is decrease in money flow and businesses cut jobs. The worst recent recession occurred from late 2007 to mid-2009, which resulted in market decline in economies around the world. Next, we will discuss about inflation, a very common term. Inflation is rise in the general price level of goods and services. A simple example is a loaf of bread costs $2 this year, but $2.50 next year. In recent years, Argentina has experienced some of the highest inflation rates. In 2023, annual inflation exceeded 100%, and by December 2023, it had escalated to 211.4%. Next, we will get to know about deflation. Deflation is decrease in the prices of goods and services. It is the opposite of inflation. So is deflation always good? Not necessarily. While lower prices might sound great for consumers, deflation can hurt the economy. Businesses make less profit, which leads to job cuts and results in rise of unemployment. One great example of deflation is the Great Depression of the 1930s, which lasted for over 10 years and affected all the major economies of the world. Let us now see what GDP means. GDP is a popular indicator of a country's overall economic health. Gross domestic product, or GDP, is the total value of goods and services produced in a country during a specific period. That is, if a country produces $2.18 trillion worth of goods and services in a year, its GDP is $2.18 trillion. Increasing GDP indicates that the workers and businesses are generally better off. As per IMF for 2024, the United States is the largest economy with a GDP of $29.17 trillion, followed by China. China's rapid economic development has increased its GDP from $1.95 trillion in 2004 to $18.28 trillion in 2024. Next, let us discuss fiscal policy. Governments use fiscal policy to promote economic growth, reduce poverty, and stabilize the economy during recessions or booms. Government spending and taxation are the two tools of the fiscal policy that are used to control a country's economy. Government spends by investing in infrastructure, health care, education, so that they create jobs and boost demand. Taxation is the other tool by which the government adjusts the income tax, corporate tax, or sales tax to either put more money in people's hands by reducing taxes or reduce excess money in circulation by increasing the taxes. There are two types of fiscal policy: expansionary fiscal policy and contractionary fiscal policy. Expansionary fiscal policy is employed during recessions to stimulate demand and to boost economic activity by increasing government spending or cutting taxes. Contractionary fiscal policy is used when there is increase in inflation, where the governments reduce spending and increase taxes to slow down the economy. Fiscal policy is like the government's steering wheel for the economy, adjusting spending and taxes to keep things stable. Now, let's get to know another important term: monetary policy. Monetary policy is how a central banks of countries like the Federal Reserve manages the money supply and interest rates to control inflation, stabilize the economy, and promote growth. The key tools of monetary policy are interest rates, open market operations, and reserve requirements. Raising the interest rates slows inflation, and lowering interest rates boosts borrowing and spending. Open market operations, such as buying or selling government securities to control money flow. Reserve requirement determines the amount banks must keep in reserve, affecting lending power. Just like fiscal policy, there are two types of monetary policy: expansionary and contractionary. Expansionary policy is used during recession, that is, central banks take steps to increase money supply, like lowering rates. Contractionary is used to control inflation, where the rates are increased to control money supply. Don't miss out on more finance insights. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated. And hey, share it with someone who needs to see this.